With the holidays coming up, I had to share this sweet potato casserole. Now, sweet potato side dishes and desserts are some of my favorites during the holiday season. Now, I've shared a sweet potato pie on this channel before, but I haven't shared this sweet potato casserole, which is probably, I might like that one just a little bit better than the pie. It's made with, of course, roasted sweet potatoes, but I top it with a nice brown sugar oat crust that's made with oats, brown sugar, and a little bit of spice. All right, let's go ahead and make this recipe. Now, before we get to the ingredients as well as the instructions for this recipe, I am going to ask that you push that subscribe button so that I can continue to bring you videos like this. Also, if you could give me a thumbs up if you like this video or if you just really like sweet potato casserole. For this recipe, I'm going to use the following ingredients. Like I said, we are roasting our sweet potatoes. I love roasted sweet potatoes. It's going to release those natural sugars. If you didn't have time for that, you can also microwave them. But for this recipe, you're going to need sweet potatoes, large eggs, white sugar, as well as brown sugar, some all-purpose flour, some oats. I forgot to measure out my heavy cream. It's in the fridge, but you still need that as well. Some butter, some cinnamon, and some salt. All right, let's talk about our base. And if you're following along and making this yourself, don't forget I've got the full recipe details, instructions, and ingredients amounts on my website. So for this sweet potato casserole, we are doing two different components. First, we're gonna make our filling, and then we're gonna make our topping. And as I stated earlier, our topping is gonna be a oat topping, not marshmallows. I don't like marshmallows on my sweet potato casserole. I know some of you do. Let me know in the comments which one you prefer, but for me, I'm gonna leave the marshmallows out of this one. All right, let's talk about this filling. So I have already done a step and I have roasted my sweet potatoes in the oven. I roasted it on 425 for about 40 minutes until they were nice and softened. And now I'm just gonna peel the skin off of my sweet potatoes. And then I'm gonna put it in a large bowl, or a bowl that I'm gonna use for my stand mixer. So I have removed the skin from my sweet potatoes. And one question that I used to get a lot when it came to my sweet potato recipes was, what about the strings? And what I can tell you is that basically that just depends on the growing conditions of the sweet potatoes. And so it's kind of hard to control the stringiness of it. You just gotta pray that it was a good growing season. But generally, one way that can help reduce this is when you're buying sweet potatoes, try to avoid the long skinny ones. You know, if they're a little bit shorter and plump, that should be better. As well as they say, roasting your sweet potatoes or maybe even boiling them, which I don't like to boil them, so I'd rather roast them, can help with any possible stringiness. I also think that if you beat them first without adding ingredients, that also helps with the stringiness. So that's what I'm going to do. Got it in my bowl for my stand mixer, so let's go ahead and beat these sweet potatoes. So I've got my beater. I'm gonna just beat these until they're nice and smooth. So I'm gonna do like a lower speed. Beeps. All right, so it's been about a minute, maybe like a minute and a half. And you can see that my sweet potato mixture is pretty much mixed. It's a little bit of string-a-bitty-gadoos. I don't like the way that's stringing. I'm gonna let it whip it a little bit longer. So I finished beating my sweet potatoes and now I'm going to add the remaining ingredients. So I've got 2 large eggs and I'm going to make sure I beat these in a separate dish before I add them to my sweet potato mixture. That gives them a little bit of a head start. Also, it makes sure that I don't get any shells in there. Been there, done that. So I'm just gonna give it a light beat. Whisk it away. Wah, 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 wah. I'll probably take this out for now. Boom. Oh, I put everything in there. All right. I've also got some unsalted butter that has been softened. So you don't want it to be too cold. It's 4 tablespoons. Got about half a cup of heavy cream. I'm not sure if I said it earlier, but we are also gonna add some vanilla extract. I like to add a little bit more than a teaspoon, about 1.5 teaspoons. You could do 2 teaspoons. Also gonna add some white granulated sugar, about 3/4 of a cup, which seems like a lot, but it's sweet potato casserole. I don't know. Let's make it good. And I'm doing a full teaspoon of kosher salt. If you are using iodized salt or table salt, I would cut that in half because that's gonna be saltier than the kosher salt. So I've gone ahead and added my beater back to my KitchenAid because I'm gonna mix all these together. And if I didn't say it before, make sure you have preheated your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit because that's what we're gonna bake this at. Boom, boom, boom. Make sure it's low so stuff doesn't go all over your kitchen. I'm gonna go ahead and stop this mixture. As you can see, it's a nice, beautiful filling. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and grease a 9x13-ish. Actually, when I measured this pan came out to be like 9x12, but anything that's like 2 quarts that can hold your casserole. And I'm gonna use that paper from the butter to kind of give it a little bit of a grease on the sides. I'm gonna go ahead and pour my mixture in the bottom of my pan. Get in there, get in there. You wanna spread it out just a little bit. It's not gonna be super thick. All in there. Spread that all through that pan. Just give me a workout, it's heavy. All right, and so we're gonna set this aside while we prepare our topping. Make sure you clean out that bowl because we're gonna prepare our topping in the same bowl. All right, so now we are on to our topping because I cleaned my bowl, less dishes, yay! But I'm also gonna use a stand mixer for this part as well. I should note that you don't necessarily need a stand mixer. It just makes it a little bit easier for me. You could also just make your sweet potato filling in a bowl. You could whisk it by hand or you could use one of those hand mixers. And for this, I'm gonna use a stand mixer to mix my ingredients. All right, so I got here some cold unsalted butter. It's about 8 tablespoons and I've cut it up into nice pieces. You want to use cold butter for your oat topping. That's what's going to help it be crispy. If you don't use cold butter, it may be just a little bit greasy and not crispy. All right, and I've got some rolled oats here. You want to make sure they're rolled oats and not like quick cooking oats because this is going to be cooking in your oven for about an hour. So you want to make sure your oat can withstand that cooking time. I've also got about a half cup of all-purpose flour. Is that right? Yeah. Yep. Half a cup of light brown sugar. So I always get asked, why do I like to use light brown sugar and white sugar and all that stuff? The light brown sugar has a little bit of molasses in it and I kind of like that in my oat topping. So that's why I'm using it for this part of the recipe. And I'm gonna add just a little bit of spice, just a half a teaspoon of ground cinnamon. And then I'm gonna let my stand mixer do the work again and basically mix it until it's a nice kind of clumped together mixture. All right, so let's go ahead. I've got my beater on. I'm gonna lock her in place. And I'm gonna do this on low speed for about a minute till it starts to clump together. All right, so you can see that our mixture, I might have let it go a little too long. I got distracted, but you kind of want it to form together in clumps. so it's a little bit sticky, and you're gonna wanna use clean hands to break it apart and put it over our sweet potato filling. So grab this back. And I'm just gonna break this over. I'm not gonna be super concerned that it covers every single spot of the casserole, but I do want to get a lot of good coverage. Steer it up, little darling, steer it up. Even though I'm not steering. This is kind of melting in my hand a little bit because what looked like it went, all I did was turn my head for 2 seconds. And it was just like, I'm gonna get extra melty. So now that we've got our oats topping on the top of it, we're gonna put this in our oven for about 55 minutes to an hour until that oat topping is nice and coated. And we're gonna put it in uncovered. All right, we'll be back. It has been 55 minutes and our sweet potato casserole is done baking in the oven, and oh my gosh, it smells amazing in my house. Now, our filling did what it needed to do. It basically finished baking, and then that topping got nice and golden and spread out a little bit so that it covers the sweet potato casserole. Now, I'm gonna let this rest for about 5 minutes before I serve it and plate it up and give it a good taste test. I'll be back. 5 minutes. All right, so it's been 5 minutes and it is time for me to get my little bit of a taste on. I love me a casserole. BB. I'm sorry. Okay, BB, go find your bone. All right, not your plate bone. And now usually I would have this with a big old meal, but I'll cook the rest of that later. Just gonna put this as my side. You can see that my oat topping is nice and crispy and the filling is piping hot. So let me take it just a little bit. It's so hot. Oh gosh, I can't wait for Thanksgiving. This is so good. That filling is like perfectly sweet enough, not overly sweet, and that topping gives it the perfect contrast. Anyways, I hope you enjoy it, and until the next time, bye. Yeah. All right, let me start that again. Ready?
5, 4, 3, 2. BB.
She's doing it on purpose. It's like,
Because he hears your mom.
Beebs, you don't have to protect us. We're okay. We know who that is. That's Grandma. Go, baby. Go back over there with your bone.